Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be my March TBR, and I have about 5 or so books planned for this month, so let's get into it. My first book is going to be continuing my Expanse journey. That is book 8. I believe it's pronounced Tiamat's Wrath. That's close. I think it's, another Greek god kind of reference. But like I said, this is book 8 of the Expanse. I've already started it, and it is picking up a lot stronger than the last Expanse book I read. If you watched my February wrap-up video, I mentioned that like the first, 70% of that book just was not clicking with me, but the end of it really picked back up, and this is starting off great. I'm really enjoying it so far. Only maybe 2 hours in. I'm listening to it on audio, so I'm trying to get through that. I don't even really know what it's about. I know it's obviously following our crew. They seem to be a little bit more split up this go around, so we'll see how that goes for them. I'm really looking forward to closing this series out. I have the last book, and I think there's one novella after it, so it's really coming into the stretch, the last stretch of this. I've really enjoyed it. Looking forward to it finishing strong. And the next book is going to be The Ships of Merior by Jenny Warts, and I have actually started this book months ago, and I just haven't made it a priority. This series is another long one. I started this with Philip Chase when he announced, and a couple other booktubers, that they were going to be reading this series, and I was going to follow along with that. I don't know exactly what's happened with that. It's been a while since they've talked about it, but I want to make this a priority for this month for sure. It's been sitting around. I just kind of been picking away at it. I'm only 65 pages in, and so I would like to move it along. After that, I'm going to pick up the next James Bond book, which is book 9, Thunderball. And this was actually based off a unfilmed movie is how this book came to be. I didn't look too hard into it, but it looked like there was a lot of controversy around who actually wrote it and some editing stuff, so it's still credited to Ian Fleming, but I think there are 3 or 4 other people who were involved in editing and making this book come to fruition. And all I know is that it follows the theft of 2 nuclear bombs, and it's kind of used to blackmail some Western countries. I hope that this is back on the right path for me with the James Bond. Like I mentioned in my last video, my February wrap-up, I didn't really enjoy the last book. It was a bunch of short stories kind of just cobbled together, and that just didn't click for me. I liked the more full-length novel when it comes to James Bond. So I'm hoping that it nails it. I'm a little worried that since this was going to be a movie, it's going to have a different feel to it. I'm curious on how that's going to be, and if it does, well, we'll see if I like it or not. I do like the movies, so maybe that's not the worst thing if it has a little bit of that movie magic in it. After that, I'm going to pick up the 11th Metal, which I just got in the Arcadium Unbound collection of stories. I am doing my Cosmere journey right now. I just finished up Mistborn Era 1, so I have a list. I'll put it up on the screen of the order I'm going to go in, and yeah, so that's the next one I'm supposed to read. I think this is just a slight prequel to the main trilogy, the Mistborn Era 1 trilogy, and it follows a character in that. So yeah, I'm just following that list. If you have any suggestions, if you don't think this is a good list, I'd love to know. I don't want to read anything that it doesn't really pertain to the Cosmere, but I'm looking forward to that. And along with that journey, I will also hopefully get the chance to pick up Elantris as well. This is the next one on that list, and I think this was the first Cosmere novel put out, so I'm looking forward to that. I don't know much. I try to stay away from knowing too much about books before I come into them, but I think this has to do with something along the lines of magic used to be part of this world, and now it's either decaying or it's not really a part of the world anymore. And if I can finish that, there are 2 other short stories in this that follow Elantris directly. They are the Hope of Elantris and the Emperor's Soul, and they're in there, and I think those are both really short. So if I get the chance and have a good month, I will try to fit those in as well, though that might be a little bit of a stretch. We'll see. And speaking of a stretch, if I can somehow finish all of that, which I don't know, we'll see. It's a longer month. It'll kind of depend on how busy I am at work and everything. But I would also maybe like to throw in, if I get the chance, a series that Matt at Matt's Fantasy Book Reviews talked about. It's called on Lavender Tides, I think. And basically the pitch for that was that it's Pokemon in book form. And I really like Pokemon. I just played the newest games when they came out. And I don't know, Pokemon always seemed like a really fun world. And I was always a little surprised that there weren't more, clones of it. But he seems to really like the series. I think the third book is about to come out, and I'm not sure how I'll consume that one. I know there are ebook versions of it, and I think the audiobook version has the first two books put together, and then the third one, like I said, is getting ready to release. So it seems like maybe a good time to jump on that bandwagon. But that is all of my plans for the month of March. We'll see if I can get that all done. Now that I'm sitting here talking about it, it seems like it might be a little ambitious, but nonetheless, I will hopefully get it all done. Let me know what you plan on reading in the month of March. I'd love to hear it down in the comments. And if you do have any suggestions about the reading order I'm doing the Cosmere, definitely let me know.